Okay, amazing. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm so excited to have Kyle on the call here today. Kyle and I have been working together, oh my gosh, I would say 6 months now, Kyle, or even maybe longer. But he is,
Yeah.
yeah, he's an incredible mentor. And I'm so thankful. I shared this in the group already on how much Kyle has been able to just help me with my mindset, and I really appreciate his straightforwardness. I need it. And today he's gonna share with us all about the products as well as just different questions that we may have. Oh, we have, and hi, Katie. Katie's just joining us. But Kyle has been with Isagenix and has been training in the products. He also used to own his own registered massage therapy clinic, and now he exclusively does Isagenix. And I'm just grateful to have him here to share his knowledge and wisdom. So I'll pass it over to you, Kyle.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. And I think it's probably more than 6 months. Time's just flying by. That's all. And it's a pleasure. I got to chat a little bit with Amber, and we got to hear Sally's voice. And welcome, Katie. And I got to put my glasses on here. Masha, welcome to the call. So today, I just want to, we're just going to have a little conversation about the 30-day system, because I think that was probably the system that a lot of you utilized in this last challenge that you did with Rand and Marianne. You'll have to pardon my camera. My Mac camera broke, so this is an external camera. It's going to constantly zoom in and out every time I move. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through that today, and I'm gonna offer it to you in a way that please, throughout, Rand, you can help me if somebody puts up their hand. I'm kind of like a squirrel. I can only focus on one thing at a time. But please ask questions along the way. But we will create space at the end if you want to write things down, and I'll answer the best that I can. And just know that if I can't give the answer, I'm very well connected with the formulators and the team and the nutritionists and the doctors that helped create this system. So I'll be able to get it for you. So I know that, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll come to a presentation and it's kind of like it goes in one ear and out the other. I'm busy trying to scramble and write notes. So I thought that I would just utilize something that you can actually access afterwards. So I'm going to be going right onto isagenix.com. So if I did a share screen here, I'll make sure I'm sharing the right thing. So this is what it looks like when you go to isagenix.com. And so I just happen to, if you see in the top corner here, it's the US flag. Now you can change the country to whatever you want. I can put it to Canada, but just like anything else with Canada and US, the website for US is much more decorative. They have way more information, but do know that the products are identical, just the cost is a little bit different, because soon we're going to be amalgamating both Canada and US. We're just going to have one website. So today the conversation is going to be on the 30 days. So to find that, if you wanted to go back and look at this later, under weight management, you just go ahead and click it. And there's all the different, shakes and things and whatnot. So I'm going to just cruise down here to where it says 30-day reset. And so as we load that page up, there it is. And of course, if you're wondering, I paid $355. Again, this is US pricing. That's why there's a little bit different. Now, what I wanted to talk about with the 30 days, a lot of people have the misconception that this is for strictly weight loss. And one thing that I love when we're in our clinic is that it's if you look at the name, it's just that. It's actually a reset. And so for myself, whether I was working with people who were elite athletes, people who were looking to release weight, gain weight even, this was like the foundation, because this is, in my mind, as we go through and you'll pick up on this, it's almost like it creates the fertile soil for things to grow from. So if you were someone who was an athlete and you're looking to increase your performance, your gains, stamina, endurance, we're still starting with a 30-day reset. Our triathletes, think of it this way, they're already in great shape, but if they lost 1 pound or 2, that's like 2 bricks on their back while they're swimming or running or cycling. So if there was a little bit of weight loss, bonus, but for the most part, the key thing is the whole reset. I had a father and son, or pardon me, father and daughter in the clinic once, and they both did the exact same program. Paul, he had a little bit of junk in the trunk, so he needed to lose some weight. But his daughter, on the other hand, Sydney, she was about 103 pounds, and so she had to gain weight. So I want to put this up forward just so that you guys don't get fixated that this is weight loss. I give them both the exact same program. She chose different flavor shakes, of course, than her dad, but nonetheless, they did the exact same thing. Their meals were the same because we had meals that were coordinated in between. Their cleanse days were the same. Paul, by the time he finished his program, had released 21 pounds. His daughter had gained 6. Well, actually, it was 6.5 because she got to 110 mark. So just to give you the difference between, because you're thinking, gosh, why would you have someone who's already so light start with a 30-day? Well, for her body received the nutrition differently. She had to fill some gaps, and so she was able to get onto her road of putting on muscle mass. So if we look down, of course, clinically validated weight loss system. And the neat thing about this is that there's a lot of programs that are out there. And there's a lot of different companies that have programs that are out there. And often you'll see where there will be science behind an ingredient or science behind, a product. With this, the science is on the entire system. So every single thing that you would have utilized was put into a scientific study. In fact, there was 3 of them for the 30-day. One was an 8-week study where they're like, all right, listen, there's a lot of conversation because doctors were like, especially like, gosh, I don't understand why Isagenix works so much. For us, when we have people with metabolic issues, we would put them onto a heart healthy diet. So Isagenix was like, perfect. So they summoned third party, of course, they funded it, but it was third party through different universities. And what they did is they teed it up, the 30-day system to the heart healthy diet. And what was really cool, I won't go into too detail, you'll see the numbers at the bottom here. But this is the first 8 weeks, if you just look down below, 56% more weight loss, 47% more fat loss, and twice as much visceral fat. So this is going to be for the people, say like Sydney, who was already thin, but we don't know what is surrounding her organs. So we don't know what's happening inside her stomach. So when they say twice as much visceral fat loss, that's the area that they're talking about. And then of course, you can look in the study, I don't want to bring them up here in this call. Isagenix doesn't, diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any disease or illness. But in the study, when you read it, you're going to notice what changes with the LDLs, HDLs, cholesterol, triglycerides. I mean, it's insane. And even the PCB content inside their urine was measured, which is really, really cool. So they did the 8 weeks and they're like, yeah, okay, well, maybe you got lucky. So they wanted to push the study to 6 months. And so anyone that has results like this, now you're kind of taking a risk. And Isagenix was like, yeah, no, go for it. We'll do 6 months. So the markers continue to increase. So the people who were on the Isagenix program, they continued to release weight, put on lean body muscle mass, and everybody was not allowed to exercise, just so you know. Because that way there's no way to have a steady marker. If some people are exercising, some people aren't, you're going to have, well, that's why they gain muscle. Nobody was allowed to exercise. So this occurred without exercise. So six months comes and they're like, okay, well, we're going to push it a year. And this time what they did is they dropped the heart healthy crew and they just focused on the Isagenix people. And they said, we're going to split this in half. Half of you, 50%, are going to continue with the Isagenix. The other 50%, we're going to put on the heart healthy for the first time. So they had all their results, right? Happy days are here again. 50% continued on, 50% started the heart healthy. Well, you can imagine what happened. The Isagenix continued to release weight, continued to put on lean body muscle mass, continued to improve their markers. The people that were put on the heart healthy diet, their results slowly started to decline. And it's not because the heart healthy diet is a bad thing. It's not. It's just that the components that are inside this program is kind of like filling the gaps, if you wish. If you look at our traditional food, or I even think of what my great grandparents consumed as fruits and vegetables, nutrient content, compared to what, myself or my children today are consuming nutrient content. There's a gap there, right? That's all been proven. I don't need to go into it. So think of this as something that's filling that gap. So what was inside your box? You guys would have seen, you had your shake, your cleanse. Some of you would have got the Ionix Supreme or the Adaptation Elixir. I'll talk about the Ionix in a minute. So I'm just gonna, dive right in here. And please, like I said, at any given point in time, if you have questions, please put up your hand. I'll be able to see it in the chat. So when you click onto this, because again, I'm doing this so you can do this on your own at home. You don't have to just take my word for it. This is again on isagenix.com, if you see up here, and all I did was choose the 30-day under weight loss. So these are the shakes that you could use in the system. Now I'm going to take for granted, and I'll just look at Ren's, if she nods her head, probably the majority of the people did the isolene shake. There's also the whole blend shake. Was it kind of like a half and half, or was it all whole blend? There's also the plant-based whole blend, all right? Then there's Isolene Pro. These are all different shakes. I won't spend too much time on that. I'll just let you know that the Isolene shake is a full meal replacement. In order in Canada, under our governing body, the United States has the FDA, and we have our own board. A meal replacement has to have a specific amount of carbohydrates, sugars, fats, and proteins. If you have not the required amount of any of those, you cannot call it a meal replacement. So this one has that. So does the Isolene shake, the whole blend, but what they've done is they've reduced the sugar dramatically. So there's a lot less sugar inside this shake compared to that one. So it sort of is on that teeter-totter of what Canada would call a meal replacement. Then there's the plant-based whole blend. And so for those people who are sensitive to dairy, it's fantastic because Isagenix is one of the only companies that I know of. So this is a 24-gram shake. So is the plant-based. And what I loved about Isagenix is, okay, well, if we have this clinical study, we have to have it congruent, whether somebody's using the plant-based or they're using the Isolene or the whole blend. So all three of those are 24 grams of protein. And then the Isolene Pro, you probably wouldn't have had that in your 30-day, but this is 36 grams of protein. So this is for people who have weight loss plateaus. I will shift them to these shakes. People who are athletic, performance, so on and so forth. So I'll just go on to this little Isolene shake. And again, like I said, I think it was a 50-50 split, but you can go back and look at the whole blend if you want, but I'll just talk about, this one here. So obviously, I already talked about it, 24 grams of protein. Now, this is the part that I think a lot of people take for granted. It's undenatured whey from grass-fed New Zealand cows. The reason we chose, or Isagenix chose New Zealand, is that by law in New Zealand, the cattle have to graze on open range. They're not in feedlots. They're not eating from a trough truck. They're not in, if you depending where you live, you'll see cattle in all these, compartments. It's not like that. The other thing is that by law, there is no routine antibiotics, steroids, or growth hormones injected into the cattle in New Zealand. And of course, if a cow does get sick, they don't just shoot it. They do take it away from the crowd. They will treat it, make sure everything's fine before they introduce it back into the pack. But just know that this is a very pure form. And when they say undenatured, just to give you guys a sort of some discernment between other shakes that are out there, there are other undenatured shakes, which is great because when you think about the old-fashioned separating the curds from the whey, so to speak, right? When you look at bigger companies, high volume companies, they'll use either salt, acid, or heat to create that separation. Well, what ends up happening is that beautiful three-dimensional helix peptide, the of amino acids that would have been undenatured, gets denatured. So yes, you may still be getting your 24 grams of protein from a measurement, but how functional it is or how it's received inside your body, completely different. Whereas ours is a low temperature, it's like a proprietary extraction. I think it's about 71 degrees. And so there's that beautiful three-dimensional helicoil. So your body goes, oh, I know what to do with this. This is fantastic. Bing, bang, boom. So just know that, I love whey. I do have non-dairy every once in a while because it's like just help my digestion. I don't want to just be doing the exact same thing. So sometimes I'll do a scoop of whey, a scoop of the non-dairy. Sometimes I'll go to whole blend, but for the most part, I'm the Isolene Pro guy, 36 grams of protein. As I mentioned earlier, I'm getting up there, 53 years old, I'll be in a few weeks. So a guy like me, the reason I have the higher protein shake is because I try to work out here and there, right? But I don't know how many of you have heard of the word sarcopenia. So sarcopenia is when your muscle mass slowly starts to decrease or deplete over time. Typically around the 35-year mark, if you're not exercising, if you're not eating adequate amount of proteins, then you slowly start to lose your muscle mass. And that's why when you look, you'll see some people that are in their 70s that are like, friskier than newborn colts. They're in great shape, they're hiking, they're biking, they're doing things because they continue to move, they continue to exercise, they probably continue to nourish their bodies. Whereas some people, as you get older, your appetite gets less, you're consuming less. And that's when you'll see, people start to slouch and lean forward because their muscle mass is not there to hold them up anymore. So that's why it's also important in case you're thinking, I'm done with this protein schmotein business. Whether it's Isagenix or something else you choose, depending on your age, I definitely recommend that you do consume the appropriate amounts of protein for your body type on a daily basis, because it's hard to get back when you lose it, but it's way easier to maintain it, which is cool. So we got the fiber inside there, the essential vitamins, which is really cool, the branched chain amino acids we talked about. But this last one here, the active enzymes, you see, there are shakes. I know of one shake that has one digestive enzyme. These shakes have 7 digestive enzymes. So what's happening is that depending, like a guy like myself, fully lactose intolerant, give me a glass of milk, you just don't want to be in the same room as me for a day, right? But these shakes, I consume them every single day and I don't have any issues. So that's because of those digestive enzymes are able to break down the protein properly for my body to consume it. And so having active enzymes is the what. So just other things that I want you to know is that there's not all proteins are created equal. And that's why I wanted to create the distinction with the New Zealand way, because when you have a very good protein, it's rich in a substance called cysteine, which is it's a key amino acid that, how many of you, I don't know, have you ever heard of glutathione? Glutathione is probably one of your body's most powerful natural antioxidants. And so one of the ways to help assist the production of glutathione is with this cysteine, which is inside if you have very high quality whey protein shake. So it's also serving you when it comes to your immune system, not just your muscle mass, not just your digestion, not just all the other things that would come with it. Yes, of course, there's weight loss, but that's just a side ancillary benefit. There's a lot of other things that are very important for your body. So think of it this way: when I talked about the New Zealand way, I said, it's undenatured. You can take an egg. So I have chickens outside. Got 12 of them. And so I can take those eggs, right? If I ate that egg raw, which my wife just looks at me funny, I'm getting an absolute 100% bioavailable peptide. It's not denatured. But if I scramble them up and I add heat and maybe, I dice up some cheese and veggies and I make an omelet, I'm still getting the same amount of protein, but that protein's been denatured from the heat. Does that make sense to help you out with that New Zealand business? All right, cool. So we talked about the clinical studies, yada, 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 how to use. You guys have already done it. But this is cool too: soy-free, gluten-free, low glycemic, no GMO. And of course, the science we can always take you in. But I also love that in any of the products, no artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, any of that mumbo jumbo. So what we do here, you have your little arrow button. We're going to go back to where we were. Hopefully that changed. The next thing we're going to talk about is the cleanse for life. All right. So how many of you guys appreciated the taste of the cleanse for life? Like you were expecting like something like toxic. You're like, oh, I'm going to plug my nose. Well, yeah, don't worry, because once upon a time, because I've been with Isagenix for 20 years, right? It did suck. Sorry, but it did. We literally, we would plug our nose, we would chase it with different, we would try to find like non-caffeinated herbal teas that were fruit flavored, that we can kind of mix it, because it's very hard to take something that's 2 or 3 parts solid mineral, tastes good. So they have advanced science, years to get this new peach mango, because it's so good. I mean, you can almost make it your favorite alcoholic beverage out of that. I mean, I'm not saying to do that, but you know what I'm saying? It just tastes so good. All right, so here's the cleanse for life, right? Poor Rand is like, Kyle, this is supposed to be a health talk, right? So why you're
I
gonna
love
love it.
it.
So
I
of
love
course,
it.
the targeted nutritional support, what's great about this is the first ingredient, like when you go in the back, it's aloe vera, but it's an important part. It's the inner heart fillet of the aloe vera. So that's where the richest nutrients are. And so that's why it's very easy on your stomach. The cleansing part itself is you got all these little phytonutrients, these botanicals that are inside there that allow your body to gently do what it does naturally. So there's nothing inside here that comes along and goes, all right, we're cleaning house. It allows your body to operate the way it's supposed to. I'll often hear when I was in the clinic, doctors would say, yeah, but cleansing is a bunch of malarkey because you don't have any liver support. And I'd be like, yes, you are 100% correct. There are 13 individual ingredients inside the Cleanse for Life that assist your body with stage 2 liver detox. So know that the support is there, because as you're going through the cleansing process, the body's starting to kind of, you're going to obviously, when you are fasting, you're intermittent fasting, the body's like, look, brain's going, I still need my sugar. I got to operate, right? So it's going to take whatever's left inside of course, your colon, right? And then the next thing it's going to do is, the liver stores glycogen, gets converted into glucose. It'll borrow that. And then it's like, oh, that's out. We're going to go into this little state of ketosis where it's going to start to kind of pull sugars from stored calories, i.e. your fat cells. So that's why this is so efficient when it comes to, like, why do people release weight so easily? It's because of this cleansing component and what's inside there that supports your body through it. So there's a single day. Some of you did single days. Some of you, if you were courageous, you did your double day. I love doing double days because I'm like, all right, day number 2, guess what? Well, the colon's clean, right? My liver, well, I've used all my glycogen. Well, now all it can do is go after the stored calories inside my fat cells. And people would say, Kyle, I feel so much more energetic on my second cleanse day. And I'm like, well, yeah, some of those calories have probably been in there for a decade and you're accessing them. So this is the Cleanse for Life. I, again, compared to the olden days when I was young, it just tastes so much better and it's easier to consume, because we have both a powdered form, if you didn't notice, that if you're traveling, or because even the powdered form tastes different than the condensed liquid one, or you have the liquid form. So I'm just going to arrow out of here.
Kyle, just before you move on, there are, I know, for example, Mass on the Line does nightly cleansing, so the 1 scoop. Can you share anything about that?
Yeah. So it's effective, but it's not 100% effective. So, and here's why. Who is it that I'm talking to again?
Massa, yeah.
Masha. So when you, in order for your body to excrete, right, as you're going through the cleansing process, that's when you're urinating. So when you go to bed, what are you doing for that 8 hours? I mean, maybe you might get up to go pee, depending how much water you're consuming. But on a specific cleanse day itself, you're having water like constantly throughout the day. I mean, you're in the toilet like a racehorse going, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle this. But that's good because that's how we're actually excreting things from your body. So at nighttime, you don't really have the same opportunity to do that. Plus, you also don't have the opportunity to chew on the snacks, the chewables, which are helpful going through the cleanse day. So it is effective, but it's just, if I was to give it a grade on how effective it would be, well, I won't give it a grade. I'll just say that it's less effective than doing a solo cleanse day. However, you're not wrong doing it at nighttime, because there are people that I have worked with, especially people who have sugar imbalances, you know, will just take 2 ounces before they go to bed at night. So they still consume food and their shakes throughout the day, and then they take their cleanse before night, because that cleanse is jam packed with minerals. Even if you never cleansed a day in your life and you just consume that, there's 72 ionic trace minerals that are inside that cleanse for life. So you're doing your body, minerals are like spark plugs, right? Like this is what keeps your body firing. And there's a lot of vitamins and things that you cannot assimilate properly without minerals. So that's why I love that product so much. And same thing, we have the mineral content inside our shake, as well as the natural accelerators. So where was I? Adaptogens.
Thank you.
Okay. So Ionic Supreme, right? So you see here adaption elixir. I'm not sure how many people probably didn't have adaption elixir in their program, maybe 1 or 2 or none. Okay, so we'll just go right to the Ionic Supreme. Okay, this here, if Isagenix was gone tomorrow and they said you take one thing, I'm grabbing cases of this. And here's why. See, when your body undergoes stress, whether it's physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress, so you got to think about what you're putting up with at work or school. You know, this could be from training hard, working hard. This can be from, you know, I don't know, maybe an argument with your spouse, I don't know, or partner. So any of that stress, your body is very, the human genome has not changed in thousands of years. So I'm going to just tell this real quick story. I'll just pretend. So Rand, Marianne, you know, Amber and I were like back in the Cro-Magnon days, you know, we're sitting around a fire, you know, we don't talk, we just make noises, right? And all of a sudden Amber goes, and she's pointing, and we all turn around and look, and there's a T-Rex coming. And so because we're like the Flintstones, we skedaddled and got out of there. But what happened when we saw that T-Rex is, number one, our adrenals secreted a whole bunch of adrenaline. So our heart rate went through the roof. We got sweaty palms. We're like, oh my gosh. The other thing is that it secreted cortisol, your adrenals as well. They prepped our muscles for a big long run because we had to skedaddle out of there, remember? So of course, thank goodness for Amber, we all still lived because she gave us the heads up. Well, nowadays, you know, you're sitting there and, you know, maybe you're at work and you have a date with a friend or a husband, or maybe it's your kid's birthday party, and your boss is leaning over your desk looking like a T-Rex, telling you that you have to stay late. Same process occurs. You're sitting in your desk and you get rattled. You feel your palms sweat. You want to take a swing at them because you're now going to be late for something you promised, right? Your face is going red. You feel your heart rate going up. So adrenaline's coming, cortisol's coming, right? But then what do? You go back to work. Of course, you're rehearsing how much of an ass they are, and you're even getting more mad while you're trying to do your job. So your adrenals are just saying, okay, she's under stress or he's under stress, pumping away. When cortisol doesn't get to be expended or used, it gets stored. And the only place that it gets stored is inside your visceral fat. So when I would have patients that would come in, the girls would say, Kyle, like face, my arms, my legs, I look good. I just can't get rid of this paunchy area. And I'd say, well, tell me about your day. Like, what do you, when you wake up in the morning, let's press play. And these would be the moms that, you know, they get up in the morning and they would make lunches for the kids, get them ready, get them out the door. They would go to work and they'd get off of work and they'd hit Curbs gyms and they grab whatever they did from the store. They come back from home. The kids are at home. They're making dinner. They're cleaning the kitchen. They're doing their stuff. And they sit on the couch at 8 o'clock at night and they're like, holy shit, I got to do this all over again tomorrow. So what's going on is that there's a lot of tension and stress, but not a super lot of activity because she's hitting that curved gym malnourished. So she's not utilizing that cortisol the way she could. That's why this ingredient, or this is so vital, the Ionix Supreme. So what's inside it? All these awesome adaptogens. Adaptogens come from plants that have to adapt to harsh environments. So it could be wind, it could be water, but like these plants flourish when no other plants around them are. And they, way back in the olden days, when the Russians dominated the world in the Olympics, in not astronauts, pardon me, what's the word I'm looking for? The space men dudes, right? See, maybe I need some ionics right now. And the world couldn't figure out. They're like, is it steroids? What are they doing? And they found out that it was these adaptogens that they were giving their athletes, they were giving their cosmonauts. So they were able to recover much, much quicker. So what's really great about this is the actual story itself. So what are adaptogens? I just kind of told you about what they are. But discovering adaptogens, well, this is a guy from Russia, Soviet Union, Dr. Israel Breckham. There's a YouTube video on this if you want, you can look it up. So Jim Coover, the co-founder, when the Berlin Wall went down, he literally met Dr. Breckham and his team. And they brought him back to North America. And that's how the birth of Ionix Supreme. So Ionix was out even before Isagenix was out. That's a little fact for you, Rend and Marianne. So this is a super duper, helps your body to adapt with stress, physical, mental, emotional, doesn't matter. So we got just two more little quick things to talk about, because you would have noticed inside your pack, you may have had the snacks or snack bites. I don't know what you would have chosen, but I just want to quickly talk about the IsaFlush. Now, contrary to the goofy name, we really are working on getting that changed, right? Nothing flushes out of you. This is not a laxative or something like that. Yeah, I just wish they had changed it. But if we would just work past that for 5 minutes, here's what's great about it. So my wife, for instance, is if she knows she wants to have a good night's sleep, she takes 2 of these before she goes to bed because of the magnesium content that's inside there. Magnesium, powerful mineral, where a lot of people are deficient with magnesium. But they also put inside bentonite clay. Now, you just have to go online and research bentonite clay and what it's good for. You probably will never not take this again a day in your life when you understand what bentonite clay prevents inside your intestines. It's really good. I'll just leave that up to you. So peppermint, hyssop, whatnot. So this is where I love it, because this is our digestive support while we're going through this 30-day system. The other product that we have is for metabolic support, which is going to be the natural accelerator. Again, these are in system support, natural accelerator. Another goofy name, right? So you think of accelerator. No, that's not what this is. So when I look at, and they've reformulated this, which is really great. So they've got this Sinatrol. So Sinatrol, I don't want to get too fancy on you guys. Just know that it boosts the fat burning process. So it prevents PDE enzymes. So these are phosphodiesterase. Again, I'll stop talking, but just know that it accelerates the fat burning process. We got some thermogenic botanical ingredients. So lemon, cayenne pepper, we know these things. I want you to think of this as a product that helps your body to increase its own natural thermogenesis versus being a thermogenic. So you know how you used to in the olden days, depending on what you were taking thermogenics and you're wigging out and your heart rate's through the roof. That's a thermogenic. This assists your body's natural thermogenesis, which is really cool. So I'm just going to back out of that. Got this, and I'm just going to stop share. So there we go. So that's the 30-day system. I'll take off my specs now. And I don't know if you guys who are on the line, please ask any questions you have. The reason that we wanted to talk to you about this is we wanted you to be clear on what it was that you were putting into your body and how you're getting the results that you got. Better thing that we want you to understand is that when it comes to a 30-day reset it's again, I opened the conversation talking about how this, if you think of your body as a growing plant, the 30-day creates that fertile soil environment. So now you go, okay, so here's what I want to do. Did I nail my goals? All of them? I don't know. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. So this is where we would modify things. So with my patients in the clinic, if you had some stubborn weight loss, well, maybe now we would shift your protein content. We would try the Isolene Pro for the month. So going from 24 grams to 36 grams is going to enhance your metabolism even more, and your body's going to kind of go, okay, here we go. Because most people that utilize a 30-day for weight loss, are you guys okay if I talk car talk for 2 seconds? If I get crazy, just say, give me another example. Most people come in, so our bodies are meant to be fine-tuned V8, like 5-liter Mustangs, you know, high performance. We're all supposed to be like that. Often people will enter this program as a 4-cylinder. I call them a 4-banger, right? They're just like, and even that 4-cylinder is like barely running properly. So now you add in this very high octane fuel. You start to gently pull out the things that shouldn't be there. So think of your inside of your engine, your air filter, your oil filter, all that being cleaned out so it can breathe and operate differently. You're adding in high protein or high octane fuel. So now that 4-cylinder is like, oh, and you're doing the same thing consistently. So it's like, okay, I know what to do with this. I know what to do with this. Well, remember, it wants to be a V8. So what's the next step? It has to go to a V6. Well, does a V6 need more fuel or the same fuel as a 4-cylinder? Well, it needs more. So this is where we shift the 30-day, where maybe you did 2 shakes and a meal. Now what we would do is we would do still your 2 shakes. So you'd have a shake for breakfast always, because that sets your protein metabolism for the day. But then you would have a light lunch. And here's my favorite spot. We stick the second shake around 3 or 3:30. So you know when you're like jonesing, or how about you guys that did shake for breakfast, shake for lunch, and then you're at home prepping your dinner and you're literally like, oh, I'm dying, right? Well, that's what that 3:30 shake is going to be for. It's going to carry you through. So remember, it's kind of like putting, another analogy is like putting different wood in your fireplace. Instead of kindling all the time, now we're adding, bigger pieces of wood so it starts to burn more. Well, 6-cylinder, yes. Well, we've got to go to a V8. And this is the hard part I found with the gals who really had big weight loss goals. If you have lost or released some weight and you're like, oh my gosh, this has never happened before. I'm down 10 pounds or I'm down 20 pounds. And I go and tell you to eat more, you're gonna be like, are you kidding me? I don't want to gain this back. Remember, that 6-cylinder, to get to a V8, you have to have more fuel. So it's not about how much you eat, it's what you eat, and in the increments. So little bits and pieces throughout the day, so we're constantly adding fuel to that fire. So those are the things that we would continue you on with. Maybe some of you didn't even hit your weight loss goal. So then doing another 30-day is when you can utilize those cleanse days, maybe even 1 or 2 of them. We can do a double. We'll teach you how to do that very easily. But maybe some of you hit your goals and you're like, all right, how do I maintain this? Well, this is exactly like, let's say I trained to do a marathon. I would do this with patients. I would give them exercises and they'd be like, well, how long do I have to do these exercises for? Well, you're not going to quit your job anytime soon. So how long do you want to feel good? Right? It's up to you. You don't have to do them. But when you walk out this door, it's up to you. So same thing with this. You now have a taste of what it feels like to get to where you are. It's your job to be able to carry on. Just ask questions. This is what I still want to do. This is what I want to maintain. And the girls and I can help customize something to fit your needs. Because it's not about doing 30 days over and over again. Now you chop the program in half, meaning you chop the cost in half even. And you start to go, okay, I still want to do this, but I like this product. I don't need to release any more weight. Definitely you want to keep your ionix supreme, because I don't know if any of you are going through stress, but something good to keep in the program. So anyway, we'll just leave it at that, Rand, I think. And if anybody has any questions before we sign off, please just unmute, shout out, and I'll give you 30 seconds.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kyle. Marianne sent some questions, but she had to go off. She was sharing more about if people are struggling with the cleanse days, herself included. Like any, because I know the nightly cleansing has been an option for those intimidated, or some that maybe not saying massa, but just this is something I've heard, is that people who have had unhealthy or like eating disorders and stuff in the past, like the idea of fasting for a full 24 hours kind of triggers that. So what would you say to that?
Yeah, just do your best. If
Mm-hmm.
you get through half the day, if you get through 3/4 of the day, like there's no right or wrong. This is about reintroducing a new lifestyle, a new way for your body to again, you're introducing a new realm of nutrition, and you're also gently pulling things out that, whether you like it or not, you're exposed to. We all breathe the same air, drink the same water, do the same thing. So your body is being bombarded all the time. So if you can, maybe you wake up and you do your initial cleanse at 8 o'clock, and then you do your second one at noon, and maybe by 2 you're having your shake, and then you have dinner. And you do that a couple times, then stretch it to the next one, so that you go through till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then stretch it to dinner. Maybe you're having a shake before you go to bed, right? So give yourself permission to go, right, this isn't like a cookie cutter. Okay. But if you are serious with your goals, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you're like, right, this is what I want. How do I get it? So, and again, with a nightly cleanse, you're still going to get results. How fast they occur may be a little bit different. So just do lower your expectations a bit, especially when you see the before and after photos, that if you do alter how you do the program, nothing wrong with that. Just know that your results may not come as fast, but they're still going to come over time.
Yeah, that's excellent. And just one more before I give someone else a chance, to do with the cleansing. It was actually Massa who said that she found it, the powder. Let me just see. She was saying that it was too bitter, which I've never heard in my life about the peach mango. But could that be something that she to do with her taste buds adjusting, or have you heard that
Yeah.
before?
So depending on, this is why in the clinic I used to do personal analysis before I started anybody. So I'd get a full profile on what you eat, what you drink, when you eat it, so on and so forth. So I can get a clear understanding if your body's actually coming into this program acidic or alkaline. Because depending on where you are and what you consume, that can determine how your taste buds operate. So if it tastes bitter, that is the first time I've heard that, and I've been with Isagenix for 20 years. But hey, doesn't matter. So what she could probably do is, I would have something on her palate, like if she, little chewable snacks. So maybe she has a chewable snack just before she has her cleanse, so that there's something different on her palate before she, or water it down more, or if she wishes, drink it as a tea. Add warm water, drink it as a tea. Right? Even add some lemon, believe it or not, to switch it.
Okay. That's good. Sally, nice to see you. This is Kyle, the famous Kyle. Did anyone else
I'm not
have?
famous.
She's heard lots about you. She's heard lots of your calls as well. Did you have any
Nice to meet
questions?
you, Kyle.
Sally's unmuted. Let's give her some time. Go ahead, Sally.
Oh, I was just saying nice to meet you and thanks for your talk.
No worries. No worries. Anytime, you guys. Seriously.
I think one tip I took out of that is I've kind of hit like a plateau for myself, and I haven't used the Pro in a long time, and I hadn't even thought of that just increasing the protein intake maybe. So I think I'm gonna put the Pro on my next order. Yep. So thanks.
And it's the Isolene Pro now is, all the shakes have changed in the sense that they just keep on adding new ingredients to enrich it. They taste really good. It's the only shake that I can take and I can stir it with a spoon and there's no clumps. That actually I can shake it anywhere. So you'll love the Isolene Pro. And there's French vanilla, and then there's natural vanilla. If you like a little bit sweeter vanilla, French vanilla. If you want more of a natural tasting vanilla, well, of course, the natural vanilla. You got two options.
I wish there was a birthday cake, Pro. I'm obsessed with birthday cake.
I know.
It's too
All of
bad.
Well,
us
you know what you
are.
can do? You can get 1 scoop of birthday cake and 1 scoop of Iceland Pro, and it's not quite 36 grams, but you're hovering around the 30-gram mark, right?
Mhm.
If every once in a while
Ah,
to shift it, so you can be your own creator with this stuff, which is
smart
really
idea. I like it.
That's perfect.
awesome.
And I love it because
Awesome.
Sally was one of those skeptical doctors that are like, meal replacement shakes and what's Isagenix, and did it initially to prove me wrong. And so it's so
Good. That's
nice.
what I did to my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
How to
it's
grow
nice.
Sally.
And then Master Key, if you guys don't have any other questions, or if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, can I ask you one more question, Kyle, that Marianne had sent in?
Sure. We'll make this the final, and then we can let everybody go.
Okay, then what I will do, it's interesting, actually, one comment and one question. Okay, perfect. They said, thank you for the session and no questions. One thing interesting that you spoke about the isoline more than the whole blend, because usually I get whole blend, and this time around I've been doing isopro as well as the packets, which are isoline, and I forgot it's the digestive enzymes which work so well for me. But I do love the veggies and the whole blend. So that was one question, but I'm gonna focus on this last one, which I think we all struggled with, and especially in the summer, is social aspects of life. And especially here in Toronto, we're our group of friends. We're a big group of foodies. We love to go out for food, and so I love that the shakes, it's like shake or snack, and then dinner. You can formulate it, but also we go for burgers sometimes. And anyway, so how do you, when you have particular goals, and it's summer, and that's like a big thing to go, how do you deal with the social aspect and your goals and nutrition?
I love how you didn't put alcohol in there, which is a
Oh,
massive
yes.
part of
Oh, it
social,
is.
right?
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes.
true. It's true.
Hmm.
So here's the deal. Just like when I was discussing the cleanse at nighttime versus, a full day or 2 days, you're still going to get your results. But if you don't treat this like a lifestyle change, like the more you keep treating it like a diet, the less chance you're going to be consistent with it, the less chance you're going to get to where you want to go. So if you just introduce this as something as part of your lifestyle where, yeah, I'm going to go for a burger, but today I'm going to have my shake in the morning, because no matter what, that's the first thing that goes down my hatch is that shake. Well, after the ionix.
Hmm.
But have a shake. If you know you're going for burgers for dinner, make sure you have your shake at lunch, right? Or if you're going for burgers at lunch, go enjoy your burger. Have some yam fries. Who cares? Have your shake later on. If you're still hungry after your second shake, then have a light dinner.
Hmm.
So the whole thing is that this is not about restriction or starvation at all. You're going to get your results. This is the only program I know of that you actually smash your results by eating.
Hmm.
So if you want to go and have fun, go out and have fun. Just don't beat yourself up about it. Stay consistent with the 2 shakes, because what they do is that it'll fill the gap to the point. So if you say, oh, okay, I'm going for burgers today, so I'm not going to have my second shake. Probably the worst thing you're going to do, because once those greasy foods get in your body, it's like, oh boy, maybe I'll get some more fries.
Hmm.
Whereas if you had that shake, you'd enjoy your shake and your fries, or pardon me, your burger and your fries, and Bob would be your uncle.
Hmm.
Alcohol, right? You want to have a glass of wine, have a glass of wine. Like, again, don't beat yourself up. I'm not trying to give you like full permission, because if you have serious goals, I admire, like I got people in my life that, I love going out and having beers and nachos with them. And they'll come out still, but they won't have beers or nachos. And I'll be like, good on you. Like, I love that. And it inspires me to step up my game. But if they did have beers and nachos, no judgment, because at least you know what to do next.
Yes, perfect.
Now, having burgers every night,
Hmm.
maybe, yeah. Of course, your beverages that are going to be summertime, you got to think that anything that's a spirit, you're adding a soda to it. So lots of sugar. So if you can make things with soda water and tequila and things like that, of course, your body's going to simulate it differently. It's a different sugar breakdown process. You can still have a social beverage with people and not feel out of sorts, but it's not going to affect your body than if you start having ciders and coolers and beer.
Okay, Awesome.
Coolio.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kyle, for your time. That was so, so good. Sally, you're good? No questions? She usually has a million questions, so this is your chance. It's
Well, she
really-
can,
No, I'm good.
she
Yeah.
can access
No,
me
it's a great
anytime through you.
presentation.
So it's all good. So Sally, if you
Awesome.
ever have a
No
question,
questions.
you can go through Rand anytime. We can get on the phone. No worries.
Okay,
Sounds
thank
good.
you.
All right, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Have a great night. Cheers, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.